back to Gameday Tarps, episode 12. How are we doing today, boys?
Doing good, bro.
Doing pretty good, Riley.
Awesome. All right, we're going to start off with another unfortunate death. I can't believe how many there's been this year. It's been crazy, but goaltender Roman Czechmanek passes away at the age of 52. I just can't believe that. Yet again, like I said, another person. I think we've done one every single week this year of someone passing away that was involved in the NHL in some way. Like, it's been a ridiculous start to the year of unfortunate tragedies around NHL players.
Yeah, even the Nottingham Panthers are now officially retiring Adam Johnson's number 47.
Yeah, as they should. I saw they did their memorial game for him, so that's good to see that they're getting him, respected and showing the love for. Onto a couple things related to arrests and Adam Johnson. One is that a man has been arrested in suspicion of manslaughter in the case of Adam Johnson. So I think everyone assumes that's Matt Petgrave. Because they're not confirming it, we won't confirm it. It would be weird if it was anyone else. I think that it obviously is him. And then Milan Lucic was also arrested for alleged domestic incident. So we don't know what that is. There's been nothing confirmed on that yet, but it's unfortunate to see Lucic finally get to go home to Boston and have an incident where he's kind of messing things up. So hopefully it's not as bad as it sounds for Lucic, and hopefully they get the correct verdict on whatever it is for the guy they arrested about Adam Johnson. So I don't know your guys' thoughts on either of those, but just two things that hopefully get resolved quick and easy for all parties. All right.
Well, this isn't the first time that Milan had a run-in with the law. In 2011, he had the same dispute with his wife. Well, sorry, then girlfriend, now wife. But yeah, and now he has 3 kids, and now then girlfriend, now wife, and then now he has been alleged choking her in a domestic dispute. So sending all the support and thoughts out to his family. Hopefully that this can get resolved, and hopefully no harm has been done.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Definitely a tough time in his career to be doing something like that, especially considering that, he was considered to have his career rejuvenated in Calgary and then go back in Boston with a lot of highs in his way, and then now you got this going on. Not a good look for him.
No, definitely not. On to the Oilers. They have fired Jay Woodcroft, and they have hired Chris Knobloch from the AHL Hartford Wolfpack for the New York Rangers organization. They got approval from the New York Rangers to hire him. What are your guys' thoughts on the move? I know I personally thought Jay Woodcroft should have had a little bit longer of a leash when they had just ridiculously bad goaltending, and their players were all underperforming at all aspects of the game. So I just thought that was a bit of an unfair firing. So close after that Heritage Classic that they just won. Like, I thought it was a bit premature in the season.
Yeah. Well, did you see McDavid's interview saying that he had no idea that it happened and whatnot? But I've also heard like a bunch of speculation saying that he wanted Woodcroft out. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Well, I mean, everyone kind of saw it coming, but it's not that much of a bombshell as everyone is putting out to be. Like, Jay Woodcroft, he got fired, but you know what? It's not entirely on him, okay? Yeah, he makes up the lines for the day, and the line changes, whatever. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's the players that go out there on the ice and who are producing. And well, in this case, they were not producing, so it made it look really bad on his resume with the record they were going in the first 10 games of the season. Like, what do you do? Oh, Ken Holland's like, okay, so Dave Manson and Jay Woodcroft's out. So now we got the new guys in. But you know what? At the end of the day, Edmonton lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning today, and now they're 6-10 on the year. Like, that's still a pretty rough start, and it's already 3 games in with the new coach. Like, I don't really think the coaching change was the biggest move that the Edmonton Oilers should have been making, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I do agree that maybe it was a little too early, but I do think Woodcroft wasn't utilizing his lines properly. We talked with Riley and I talked with the oil change the other night, and I gotta agree with them. Continuously putting McDavid and Draisaitl on the same line is a bad idea. those guys should be split up, and you need scoring on every single line.
Yeah, the only time you should ever see those two on the same line is for a power play.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you're in like the end of the game and you're losing, you can stack them up. But I think that the onus has to fall on Ken Holland. Like, he built the roster and gave it to Woodcroft. Like, the contracts that are hampering them are his fault. The players that are underperforming that he brought in are his fault. Like, him expecting young guys like McLeod and what's his name, Holloway, those guys, right? Like, and Broberg, like, expecting them to be the guys who are the depth to win a Stanley Cup is not an easy thing to do for that young of a team. Like, if you look at, let's say, Tampa Bay, who they just played today, 2015, all those guys had been in the league for like 4 years, right? Johnson, Palat, they had Panik. They didn't even have guys like Sergachev yet, and that team was too young. They played the Chicago Blackhawks and they got ran over because what were they going to do? They just were too inexperienced. Their depth wasn't old enough. So I just think that relying on those guys is a mistake if you're trying to win a Stanley Cup and solely rely on them to be carrying a line.
You know what's also crazy to like think about is like it almost seems like Calgary and Edmonton, when you look at it, the exact opposite is happening with them. Edmonton doesn't have the young guys showing off like Calgary does right now. And Calgary's stars aren't really doing anything as where Edmonton's stars are. And I'd probably choose Calgary's goaltending over Edmonton's goaltending.
For sure.
But, like they're almost opposites in a way.
I mean, I kind of agree, and also I'm going to counter that with I think that Calgary's young prospects coming up are a lot more exciting and yet more invigorating when it comes to performance on the ice in recent times with Calgary's prospects. Because like you guys got Connor Zary, and then unfortunately Jacob Pelche is not going to be around this year to show what he's got. But even Jeremy Poirier up in the system, and even Dustin Wolf coming up. Connor Zary had 2 points tonight. Great for him. He's been a point per game player. But, you got these young guys for Edmonton coming up, and you never hear anything about them. So, you know what? Going south about 2 hours of Edmonton, you got, the Calgary Flames prospects coming up from the Wranglers. These guys are fun to watch.
But you think Edmonton's guys should be producing better than the Calgary guys? Because these Calgary guys were drafted late, right? Like, Zary was like 20... whatever
27th,
in
wasn't
the
he?
draft
27th?
or 20th pick exactly, I think. And I think he was 20th exactly. But
you guys traded back, remember? You traded back.
Edmonton has guys like, yeah, we kept going down. We originally had, I think, like 18th, but I think we got him at 20th. But you got Dylan Holloway.
Pick, though.
Oh, I loved it. But you got Dylan Holloway, who had a lot of hype behind him. You had Broberg, who's had a lot of hype behind him, and they're not doing anything for Edmonton.
Yeah.
And these are guys that were Pelche himself. Yeah, Pelche was a 20-something pick. Zary was a 20-something pick. I mean, Pelche actually might have been like 19th or something. But anyways, they're just later guys. All I'm saying is that it's the opposite happening between the two teams. That's kind of what I was just pointing out.
Keeping it on Calgary, though, Nikita Zadorov has requested a trade from the Calgary Flames. And in a time when he really wasn't playing his best and cost the team a couple goals, like he had just taken responsibility for a bad giveaway the game after he requested a trade. And it's really causing more issues in that locker room. I know, Dak, you agree with this, but is it just time to go rebuild in Calgary? You got all these UFAs. No one seems to be happy unless the young guys are playing. Like, the young guys seem to bring happiness to the team that they can't seem to find in themselves. Like, it just seems like they're lost and they need to move on from all their guys and kind of start fresh.
Yeah, it's funny. Management doesn't want to use the word rebuild yet. They still say retool, but the retool logic is still saying they want younger guys that are NHL ready. So to me, that kind of insinuates a rebuild. And, the game today, Calgary versus Islanders, they were saying that Backlund is a captain, did the classy move, was saying, like, hey, boys, like, if you don't want to be here, that's management's problem. But when you're in this locker room, like, we're here to play hockey. So good move on him. He's trying to get he's trying to bring down the storm in that locker room with all the guys that want out, and they're playing good hockey right now. So whether they're here to stay or they want out, like, just play your game and see where it goes, But I
Yeah,
definitely think, oh, sorry, Dallas.
Oh, I was just going to continue with that. It's like the longer you mope around and the more you make it known to other teams in the NHL that you're just miserable all the time and you're requesting a trade out of that team, do you really think the other 31 NHL teams are really going to want to pick up your sorry ass? You know what I mean? Not only are they picking up your sorry contract, is they're going to pick up your miserable, sorry, unproductive ass and just, want them on your team and that negativity in the locker room. Like, you know what? You're ruining your reputation, not just for the team, but you as an individual. So, I mean, this whole Nikita Zadorov and whoever else is on that team that wants out, like, you're ruining it for yourself, man. You're going to be finding yourself on an AHL bench real fast before you find yourself on another NHL team the way you keep moping around with that attitude.
It wasn't Zadorov that came out with it. It was his agent. I get if he wants out, is what it is. He wants more minutes. He considers himself a top 4 defenseman. Do I agree with how he went about it? No. But, he's not like he's in the Huberto conversation, right? Like, he is producing for Calgary. He's showing like he's a tough guy. I mean, Toronto guys were literally recruiting him mid-game, saying they need that. And yeah, there is teams out there that want Zadorov. There's at least a good 5 or 6 teams that are looking into a trade with him and or Tanev.
I kind of see where he's coming from too. Like, when you're a UFA in the last year of your deal, right? And you have a chance to pick your landing spot where you're going to go next, and you can kind of do it ahead of time. It's almost better that way, especially if you're not happy where you are. Like, why wait until free agency? Why wait until someone's going to offer you a contract or bid for you? Maybe the team you really want to go to wants to trade for you, but they can't outbid another team come summer, so you can't sign with them, right? So like he's noted his home is in Florida in the summers, right? That's where he likes to go. He likes to live down there. So I would imagine that the Panthers are probably number one on his list. Maybe the Lightning would be, but they have no cap. So there's no way that they're affording him this year or any year in the future. But I just see that, like, if he wants to get out, he wants to get ahead of the free agency, and he wants to find a home, do a sign and trade or get traded, then sign, either one. I can just see that maybe being his angle. But you're right. Like, I don't think it's good to be a guy who's been moved around a lot in this league and then request a trade, right? Like, you could see like guy like John Tavares in the last couple of years of his contract in the Islanders, he wanted out. He probably should have been traded because then it at least would have got them some assets back. But then he just left for nothing. So at least he's trying to, like, also give Calgary something in return for him when he's basically saying, look, I'm leaving regardless. You might as well trade me and get some stuff because I don't want to be here come the beginning of next year. Same thing with Noah Hannafin, basically saying, hey, I want to play in America. At least he's letting you know. He could pull a Gaudreau and just be like, yeah, I want to be here, and then dip, right? At least you can get something for these guys. Like, you can't go in the last 3 seasons and lose Gaudreau, Tanev, Zadorov, Hannafin, and Lindholm for nothing. Like, that list of players, that's a Stanley Cup winning core right there. And you just lost them all for nothing because you couldn't, or just decided not to pull the trigger on some trades for unhappy guys. So I think from that point point of view, you got to do the trade.
Well,
Like,
I don't
what's
think.
going on with Cal? Oh, go ahead, Dakota.
I was just gonna say, like, I think Calgary should do it on their own terms too. Don't don't give Zadorov what he wants. Like, if he's got to wait for the trade, make him wait for the trade. Get the deal that better suits us. I mean, yeah, he could consider Florida home, but like, I'm not gonna cater to that. You can sign with Florida in the offseason if that's what you want, but I don't think Calgary should cater to these guys and what they want. They should just trade them to like what makes sense in a deal for them in return, whether the guy they're trading likes it or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what they should do too.
Now, as an outside, as an outside standpoint, like what's going on with the Flames? Like, it's a beautiful city in Calgary. You're 45 minutes, not even to the Rocky Mountains. And, there's so many amenities. Everyone is awesome in Calgary. Like, why don't people want to play there? I get it that some of the management and what they do with some moves to build a team just hasn't been working the last few seasons. But, like, what is there to bitch about when playing in Calgary? Like, yes, you're getting your new arena deal. It's a great city, great hockey environment, but like, why don't these players want to stay? I just something I don't understand, and maybe a lot of people don't understand either.
2 words.
I think it just comes down to all these guys are like, we need to win now, but the team doesn't play like they want to win now, right? And no one's taking accountability for their mishaps. They just go to the media and go, poor me, but none of them take accountability for it. Or show improvement the next game, even if they do take accountability for it.
No, I've got just 2 words.
True.
And those words are
So
Daryl
the younger
Sutter. Like, to me, Daryl Sutter was a driving wedge in too much of that locker room. He caused too many fights and too much division, and they thought that replacing the coach could do it. And I just think that the guys just ended up not liking each other. Daryl Sutter had a very keep everyone accountable at all costs mentality, which means you were being told when you sucked. And I think that started to bleed into the locker room where guys were yelling at each other and holding each other to accountable. And I don't know if that's gone away. I think that they don't get along behind closed doors. And I think guys are tired of being there. It's not about Calgary. It's not even about the new coach or the new management. It's just the fact that under Sutter, they just broke as a team. They just couldn't handle it. And they say that Sutter's only good for a couple years and then he'll break the team. Well, he really broke the Calgary Flames.
Well, I wonder if not having a captain played a role in this too, right? You got these guys that maybe want to try to take on that role, but then you got guys that have probably been on the team long enough to be like, no, you're not my captain. And then, maybe you just got like this big fight in the locker room for the captaincy. And then now that Backlund got elected, maybe there's still some bad blood with some of these guys because they think they deserve it more. Just
I'm kind of seeing a trend. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing a trend where like a lot of guys just nowadays play for themselves rather than for a team. Like teamwork is what makes the dream work. A lot of these Calgary guys are probably just playing for themselves. They want to outperform the other. But yeah, it's all right to have a little healthy competition. But you guys are a freaking team. You should be helping each other out all the time, not fighting for the captaincy in an unhealthy way and stuff like that. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, but like Dakota said, I think that comes from not having a leader. Given. Like, why are the players trying, right? When you have 4 assistant captains or 5 assistant captains with rotations or whatever, right? Like, you're deciding who's going to go talk to the coach about a problem in the locker room, or you're deciding about who's going to say the speech before the game, or who's going to say the speech when the team is not playing well, or who's going to say the speech when the team is playing well. You got 5 guys all thinking that they can have the C, and they're all awkwardly stepping up and stepping over each other to like be the first one to say something, or going to all the other players saying, hey man, come to me if you want to talk to the coach. Like, I'll bring up some issues to him if you want. Like, you can count on me as your leader. Like, just stuff like that where they want to be the leader so bad because the coaching hasn't given it to them. It just creates a weird dynamic. I guess I'll even add, like, so when I was playing, it was 3rd year midget, so I've been playing for 3 years. and I had the coaches 2 years in a row, and I was like 18, and there was 17 and 16-year-olds, right? So I went to the coach after we made the team and whatever, and I said, hey, like, I want to be a leader on this team. You know, I'm looking to be the captain. I really want to step up and be the leader here. And we hadn't then, like, nothing happened for a month, and we didn't have a captain. We had a couple assistants. I was one. Another guy who was the captain the year before was one. And then we had another assistant captain, and we were all good buddies. So we were like, oh, you know, whoever gets it, let's hope it's good. And then we were playing an away game, and everyone played terrible. Like, the whole team, except for one guy. And the coach came in after the game. All he said was, we played so bad out there. Only one of you was working hard. And because of that, he's getting the captaincy. And it wasn't even one of the assistant captains. It was like the quietest guy in the room who didn't even know what to do when the coach said that. And then, like, I know that frustrated me for like most of the year. I know I led the team in penalty minutes after that. Like, I was just mad that at the coach that, like, he would just do something so stupid like that. And, like, I don't know. It just definitely caused a lot of division. It didn't in part of the team because some of them were buddies with them. And, like, I was a buddy with them, but it was just weird. You know, it's just weird stuff like that when coaches just do weird things. The other guys who were expecting to be the leader or at least have a solidified role, all of a sudden it was just like changed, and it was weird. So I get why it would be weird for them, especially on a pro team where the media is like wondering who the leader is too and who to go to first after a big loss or something. So I can see why they'd be kind of at each other about it. All right.
What are your guys' thoughts on the NHL possibly decentralizing the draft in 2020?
I don't like it at all. I think that having the teams there on the floor, making the picks, walking up there with their whole staff and inviting the kid into the organization in that moment, like, as soon as they step on that stage, boom, you're shaking hands with the general manager. You're now a part of that organization, unless you're traded on draft day or something. But, like, from there on, you get your jersey, you get your hat, you're going through media day with a bunch of reporters, you're doing interviews with the general manager, and, like, you feel like you're a part of that team. Now it's just going to be Bettman saying, you are drafted by blank. Congratulations. Probably just here's your hat, like the NBA and NFL. And then whatever media day will follow that. But you won't have, like, your own team GM there to tell you, like, how the day is going to go or anything. So I think it's stupid.
And he's probably just going to snub all the Canadian teams anyways, right? He'll probably just toss them their hat and be like, see ya.
Yeah.
Make them just pick it up off the ground too while you're at it, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
No, you know what? It's every kid's dream to make it to the NHL, let alone, you know, be able to walk up on the stage and shake their hands and put on that jersey over your back. Like, you know what? The fact that they want to potentially get rid of that, like, that's just demoralizing for generations to come. Like, it's not even worth it almost to, like, live up to the dream of saying, hey, I get to shake the general manager's hand, be welcomed into your organization. No, I just get to sit at home and watch it from TV as Gary Bettman, of all people, gets to announce my name.
As he's stuttering and shaking on the podium because he's aging so bad.
Yeah, like, and he's getting booed by everyone in the crowd.
Yeah, every pick. How many picks are there in the draft? 278? 278 boos. Like, that's the first, and you know the first draft location is going to try and set the record. They're going to boo him every single time just to be like, yeah, we want to be the ones who booed Gary Bettman for every single pick of the NHL draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I'm not a fan of the idea.
Neither am I.
Well, speaking of the draft, let's get into the 2024 draft prospects for North America. I know we're covering the WHL, OHL, QMJHL, the AHL for prospects that are playing there. Draft prospects. So we're doing the AHL later, and then we're doing the NCAA and USHL, and then a couple players from high school in the United States as well. So whichever one of you guys want to start with your 2024 draft prospects from your respective leagues, go ahead.
Yeah, in the WHL. I didn't put them in necessarily any order of when they were going to get drafted. I just seen a couple of A-rated, B-rated, C-rated prospects for the WHL to look out for, and it's still early enough in the season, but my list is Berkeley Catton from Spokane Chiefs, Ryder Ritchie from Prince Albert, Caden Lindstrom from Medicine Hat, Carter Yakimchuk from Calgary, T. Jaginla from Kelowna, Tanner Howe from Regina, Carson Wetch from Calgary, Adam Jaco from Edmonton, Tariq Parasak from Prince George, Jan Spoonar from Portland, Charlie Elick from Brandon, Andrew Basha from Medicine Hat, Ollie Josephson from Red Deer, Clark Caswell from Swift Current, Maximilian Caron, Tri-Cities, Hiroki Gojsik from Kelowna, Colton Roberts from Vancouver, and Adam Teitelbach from Vancouver as well.
Awesome.
But I mean that Tarek Parasak guy is just lighting it up right now. He's got more points than all those guys right now, so I could see him moving up that list. If it was getting drafted in that order, I could see him moving up in that list.
Yeah, with Tarek Parasak there, he was named Western Hockey League Player and Rookie of the Month for October there with over in a dozen games. He had 30 points, like just absurd numbers.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, and he's on a stacked Prince George team too, so hopefully that can help him out for sure.
I mean, we're in Kamloops, obviously Blazers fans, but I'm rooting for Prince George. They got such a great team, and I really hope they can make it to Saginaw this spring. So good luck to the Cougars.
Yeah, I mean, they even have like they got 3 guys right now in the top 10 in points right now in the WHL.
All right, so I will be covering the OHL, and I'm going to make it short and sweet for the guys that I have on this list. For NHL top draft prospects, we got Sam Dickinson of the London Knights, Zane Parak from the Saginaw Spirit, Luke Misa from the Mississauga Steelheads, who is also Michael Misa's brother, Liam Greentree of the Windsor Spitfires, Beckett Senek of Oshawa, Ryerson Lenders from Mississauga as well, and Carter Georgia Owen Sound, and Jet Lukenko of Guelph Storm. No particular order, but these gentlemen should definitely be making their way to the draft, most likely for the first round, if not first two or three rounds. They're top prospects, and I can't see them going any lower than that.
Awesome. All right, I got the NCAA, the U.S. National Development Team Program, and the USHL. So from the NCAA, we got Macklin Celebrini, most likely everyone's number 1 overall pick. He's playing for Boston University. We got Artem Levshunov from Michigan State and Zeev Buyam from Denver University. From the USHL and U.S. National Development Team Program, we got Cole Iserman, definitely going in the top 3. Most people assume at the latest he'd probably drop to the 5 spot. He's from the USNDP Juniors. Lots of these guys are from juniors, so if I say juniors, that's where they're from. We got Michael Hage from Chicago Steel, John Whipple from juniors, Will Skahan from juniors, Christian Humphreys from juniors, Sacha Boivert from Muskegon Lumberjacks, Matvey Gridden from Muskegon Lumberjacks, Keith McInnes from Waterloo Blackhawks, Brody Zemer from juniors, EJ Emery from juniors, Cole Hootson from juniors, Adam Kleber from the Lincoln Stars, Trevor Connolly from Tri-City Storm, Christian Epperson from the juniors, Max Swanson from Fargo Force, and Will Felicio from Madison. And we got 2 guys ranked in the top 100 from high school, and they're both from Shattuck St. Mary's, and that is Drake Murray and Aiden Park. So that's my list of the 2024 guys to look for in the college and U.S. route.
Nice. For the QMJHL, the CHL, I got some notable draft prospects for the upcoming 2024 draft. Again, no particular order, but for me personally, a favorite of mine going high in the queue would be Justin Poirier, the high-flying 19-3 record, Baie-Comeau Dracor. Out of the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles, I got Thomas Lavoie. Out of the Chicoutimi Saguenayens, I got Maxime Massey. And out of Rimouski, I got Alexandra Blas. Again, out of Rimouski, Spencer Gill. And out of Gatineau, I got Zach Peltier. And also for Justin Poirier, he is currently leading the league with 21 goals. And another teammate of his, Justin Gill of Baie-Comeau Dracor, has 40 points already.
Awesome. Good for them.
I think first 2 rounds, I think it was going to be pretty deep for the 2024 draft.
Oh, 100%.
All right, now in those leagues, let's go over guys who are just performing well in those leagues, the top scorers of those respective leagues. I don't have any information on the USHL. It's a little bit harder to find the proper statistics on some of these guys. So I just have the NCAA stats. But one of you guys can start us off and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, you got Parasak from Prince George, who's definitely the top WHL scorer right now of the 2024 draft eligible players. He's got 34 points in 24 games played, sitting at 6th place in the WHL. I think next after him, or next big name, would be Tanner Howe, who's 13th in the WHL, 29 points in 23 games. Caden Lindstrom is 15th in the league. Tej Ginla is 23rd in the league as well. And then the guy that's rated pretty high to go or at least first in the WHL players is Berkeley Catton, who's sitting 28th under Ryder Ritchie, who's 27 with 25. They both have 25 points, so they're tied for whatever.
And who are the guys that are just leading the league in general?
For the OHL.
What's that?
Who are the guys that are leading the league just in general for the dub?
In points?
Like just of all players. Like who are the guys that are just leading in general?
In points?
Yeah.
We got Jaeger Furcus from Moose Jaw with 43 points in 21 games. Was he wasn't a first rounder, was he?
I'm not sure where he went.
Pretty late in his draft, was he not? We got Zach Funk from PG sitting in 2nd. Trevor Wong sitting in 3rd from Saskatoon. Oh, another PG Cougar, Andre Bescher in 4th. Riley Height in 5th. And then Parasak in 6th. Graham Sward in 7th. Andrew Cristal in 8th. Gabe Clausen in 9th. And Connor Geeky is in 10th.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, go ahead, Dally.
For the OHL, we have the high-flying 16-5 Kitchener Rangers, who I'm going to have a hot take on, is that I think they're going to win the OHL Championship Series, and they will be heading to Saginaw in the spring. Why do I say that? Because within those 16 wins and only 5 losses on the year so far, they've had 3 main guys leading the charge, and Carson Rykopf, Seattle draft pick, the Kraken there, Vancouver Canucks draft pick, Hunter Bruce Duzwick. Oh, sorry if I butchered that name. Getting a little bit used to pronounce it. He has 36 points already as well. And Matthew Sopp with 35 points. Now, these 3 guys are leading the OHL in all scoring. It is just unbelievable. These guys are just high-flying, and yeah, they are just killing it right now for Kitchener.
Awesome. So they lead the league, all three of them? They're top three?
All three of them are the top three in points right now.
Wow. Good for them. That's crazy. How about in the queue?
And then the only one closest to them is Anthony Romani of the North Bay Battalion with 29 points.
Oh, geez. A little bit behind, but not too far.
No, it's actually not that spaced of a scoring race as it would be like for the WHL right now. But yeah, just you got all three Kitchener guys just lighting it up right now, taking the standings right now for sure.
Go ahead with the queue if you want.
Oh yeah, for sure. So for points in the queue, like I said, Bacomo Dracor, Justin Gill has 40 points already, and they're 19 wins on the season. Like just absurd. Matthew Cataford of Halifax is just behind him at 34 points. Marcus Vidicek with 32, and everybody's favorite in H-Town there is Jordan Dumais, who could evidently, if he goes on his record scoring 140 points in 64 games last year and repeats this year, he could very well contend for just under the top 100 performance list of I think it was over 430 points, if I'm correct, in his QMJHL career. So he'd be one of the best Q scorers of all time.
Wow, good for him.
That's so good for him. Yeah, so he's already got 31 points, and I think only 14 or 15 games. So yeah, he's on a good pace.
All right, I'll go through the NCAA now. Leading the NCAA is Massimo Rizzo of Denver. He's got 20 points in 11 games. Second place, tied for second place, is Macklin Celebrini of Boston U and senior Jared Westcott from Lake Superior State. Then with 18 points, you have Jack Devine from Denver and Rucker McGroarty from Michigan and Seamus Casey from Michigan. And as well, you have Curtis King from Denver with 17 points. So that's some of the top scorers in the NCAA to start the year. I know that Rucker McGroarty is going to be a beast as soon as he decides to leave college, or if he graduates and finishes and then goes to the NHL. He's going to be a heck of a player for Winnipeg, I believe it is. I think it's Winnipeg. All right. Keeping it on the young guys track, let's look at the Calder Trophy rookie race for this season so far. What you guys think? Who's leading it? Who looks like they're going to take it? If there's any surprises, or if you guys think it's pretty much going as expected so far to start the year.
I believe Connor Bedard's in first for the rookie race, correct? As expected, I believe. So that doesn't come to a surprise to me. But I am going to give praise to my boy Connor Zary, who, I mean, even if he goes a game without getting a point, he gets 2 points the next game to stay as a point per game player, which is awesome to see in Calgary right now. So I think if he keeps it up, he'll be a strong candidate if he gets kept in that lineup, which I hope he does. I think he'll be a strong candidate for that Calder race as well going forward.
My take for the Calder race is I think that the one that will definitely contend with him the most would be Pavel Mintyukov of the Anaheim Ducks. He has been just tailing behind Connor Bedard, and I really think that he is a strong candidate because I see guys like Adam Fantilli out there and Leo Carlson, like they're trailing. I mean, they haven't really lived up to the second and third overall picks, but I mean, again, like they just getting their legs in the NHL. But I mean, obviously they're a little bit slower than, Bedard. He has definitely, picked up the culture and, the game quite well for his first 20 games in the NHL. So good for him. But I think for Pavel Mintyukov, he's really just been a step ahead and really just contending with Bedard for that points lead. So yeah, I feel like he'll be contending with them all year.
I would say my surprise is probably the fact that Devin Levi is no longer anywhere near the race. He has definitely been totally eliminated from it with Buffalo's play, with his play, unfortunately. Like a guy that everyone thought before the year was probably going to beat Bedard. If the Sabres made the playoffs, it would relied heavily on him, and they would have thought he would win the Calder. But I don't even think he's in the top 10 now of rookies in the league. Like, he just hasn't been performing to the levels that everyone expected. And you know what? He's a young goalie in the NHL, and you can't really fault him because the team also isn't playing well in front of him.
Yeah, no, Buffalo had so much hype coming into this season with how hot they were last year, right? And then there was a lot of hope with Benson being a hot rookie. And I don't think he's lived up all that much to the hype either, so it'll be interesting to see how Buffalo's rookies pan out this year.
Yeah, even talking with rookies, I mean, Matt Savoy made his NHL debut a few nights ago, and then the next day immediately reassigned to the Wenatchee Wild of the Western Hockey League. Like, just some guys aren't getting the minutes and the playing time, but also it's like they have such a strong farm team and they have so many good prospects developing. Like, this could be a really scary team. But like, yeah, like with Devin Levi, unfortunately, he hasn't been living up to the potential. I mean, maybe there's a lot of pressure in Buffalo. He's going to be relied upon as the starting goaltender. But I mean, that just, personally, I think it's sad to see, that he won't be in that rookie Calder or trophy talks anymore with the way he's been recently playing. But you know what? I'll still give him props. He's a hell of a goalie. So you know what? Kudos to him. But I mean, hopefully he can regain form and, become an elite goaltender again.
Yeah, and Buffalo's got to stay healthy too. I mean, you just lost Thompson for a week-to-week basis, I believe, and Tuck is another player that hasn't necessarily been as healthy as they probably want him to be.
Oh, he's been so hit and miss.
Right. Let's move on to the Hockey Hall of Fame of this year, the inductee class, headlined by guys like Henrik Lundqvist and Ken Hitchcock, ex-Blazers coach, one of the best coaches the Blazers have ever had. All right, so included in that class are Tom Barrasso, Ken Hitchcock, Pierre Lacroix, Henrik Lundqvist, Caroline Ouellette, Pierre Turgeon, and Mike Vernon. So a couple of goalies make it in, a coach that never even learned how to skate. You got to respect this class, and Pierre Turgeon's one of the best that ended up playing this game. And what do you guys think on the class of 2020?
I definitely think that a player who should have been gotten the call to the Hall this year was Alexander Mogilny. I really feel that he should have been in the talks for sure, but he definitely got snubbed this year. I do like who has been inducted, don't get me wrong. They all are very well deserving, but for a guy who's been waiting for a while, I definitely say a deserving man would have been Alexander Mogilny. That's my only thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know. I think I'd only really have a connection with Hitchcock and Lundqvist in that draft class, I believe. So not exactly the most notable Hall class for me, I guess I would say.
Mike Vernon?
No, fair enough. I don't even remember you saying his name. Yeah, I guess, yeah, him too.
Actually, you know what? We were just talking about Buffalo goalies. We just got to give credits to their Tom Barrasso. You know what? Congratulations to him. That was a fine goalie for the Buffalo Sabres way back in the day. And I don't think they've really had a better one since, other than Dominik Hasek.
True. All right, let's talk about the Calgary.
Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller was pretty good, but I mean, legendary. Come on.
Martin Biron.
I think maybe he was more notable for his New York Rangers days, maybe, but...
Yeah. No, that was just a joke. He's definitely in the top 10 for them in goaltending, but he's probably, he's on the lower end of that scale. All right, let's talk about the Calgary Wranglers' new Tarp release that they just brought out. So I'll let you take this one, Dak, because it is your off-brand version of Blasty.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful jersey. I think they did a good job with making it their own take on Blasty, I guess. You don't have the front head view. You kind of got like a side head view of the horse. I love it.
I think this is exactly something that
I'm
Calgary
definitely a fan of it.
Like, Calgary should do a black out jersey like that with just a little bit of accents and then use Blasty in that way again. Like, they need to bring it back on a more consistent basis. like you got hanging behind you.
They wore Blasty tonight.
Did they? Oh, I didn't know it was a
They
jersey this
used
year.
Blasty tonight. Yeah. Yeah,
My
it's
bad.
their alternate now.
I didn't know it was this year. I thought it was their reverse retro. I didn't know it was their alternate.
Yeah, pay attention, bud.
Yeah, my bad.
But
All right,
I
well,
am just looking through here, boys, and Logan Stankoven has officially taken the lead as the top rookie scorer in the AHL.
nice.
Attaboy, Stank, attaboy.
Well,
Who else is on that?
he's tied with Joshua. He's tied with Joshua Waugh of Laval. They're both at 18 in the rookie scoring, but
Logan
third on that.
Stankoven should have definitely went first round. I'm telling you right now, a lot of teams missed up on him, especially Calgary.
Yeah, I'm upset that we chose Stromgren over him. I'm not gonna lie, but who knows? I did just read that Dallas is a team interested in Zadorov. Dallas. I know Calgary would be interested in Stankoven, boys.
That'd be a big price tag, though.
Maybe not that big. Not as big as the Jerome McGinley trade.
That's fair.
But yeah, third on that rookie list is Syracuse Maxim Groshev with 13 points, who's tied with Nikita Chibrikov from Manitoba.
It's good to see Groshev get a chance there because
and
he went back to
Samu
Russia. And he was in
Chibrikov
Russia
went
for a
back
year.
to Russia?
No, Groshev. Groshev was on Syracuse and Orlando. He was mostly playing in the ECHL. He decided to go back to Russia, and then he came back this year to Syracuse, and it's good to see him actually having some positive numbers.
Yeah, so I'll probably just do like the top 10 here, and then we got Samu Tuomala, Brad Lambert, Xavier Parent, Sean Farrell, Logan Morrison, and John Farinacci. Actually, you know what? Surprisingly, who's 15th on this list? Logan Mayu. I did not expect him to be that high in the rookie race, so good for him.
There'd be a lot of people contesting he shouldn't even be there, but at least he's playing well instead of just not.
I don't know. Actually, I just seen a highlight of him doing a reverse hit on somebody in a game, and the kid's got skill. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick for a reason.
You know who they could have grabbed though? Logan Stankoven, I believe. That was his draft.
They could have.
I only say that because I do believe Montreal was his favorite team growing up.
Could be.
Don't quote me on that. And you know what? Matthew Coronado, since he's been sent down, has been a point per game player as well. 8 points in 7 games, so I hope he can keep that up and eventually earn another call-up.
I think so. I think he'll earn it because I think they just set him down as a confidence
Connor
booster.
Zary would definitely be on that list too, but now he's up in the NHL.
Yeah, Connor Zary, before being called up, I believe, had 10 points or something like that, 9 points.
All right, I think that does it for episode 12 of Gameday Tarps podcast. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and give us a follow, like, and review as you wish. And thank you all for listening.